use that. I always We'll go ahead and call this organizational meeting of the Wood County Board of Supervisors to order. The first thing we're going to do is kind of off base a little bit, or not something we usually do, but it sure is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to call up Supervisor Bucky and the Honorable Mayor of the City of Marshfield, Lois T. Strake, to honor the 2024 Division 5 Boys Championship Boys Basketball Team. And gentlemen, if you guys want to come up front too, start making your way down the center aisle and come up here, that'd be great. And if you want to, bring the coach along with you.
Good morning all, and welcome to this exciting day for the Columbus Catholic. Probably not the most exciting day, but we're going to make it one more exciting day for them. Those of you that know me, I am Mayor Lois T. Strake from Marshfield. You know what? I'm going to do this because I can. And those of you that don't know me, I'm Mayor Lois from Marshfield. How's that? And you know, I think I can talk loud enough, and hopefully this will work together. First off, I want to congratulate these young men for what they've been able to accomplish. I asked them before the board meeting started, how many of you have been together? They've all been together in this since they were a lot younger. Obviously, teamwork is what makes this happen. We are so proud of them. I know that Columbus Catholic School is proud of them. I know that Marshall, Wisconsin is proud of them, and I know that Wood County is proud of them. So all of us together, how much more pride can we have for these young men? And also, their coach. I think I saw him somewhere. Joe, if you'd like to come up and say a few words.
He's behind you.
Oh, okay. See, there I go again. You were going to step. Well, I thought, okay. All right, I'm going to get away. Right.
Go ahead. If I could, Coach Joe Konitsky, give him a round of applause for. We just are honored to be here today. Thank you, Mayor T. Strake, Mr. Bucky, for organizing this. On behalf of our team and our school, we just wanted to thank you for your service. Service is kind of a big deal at our school and in our community. And to be able to bring them here to watch you in action, I think is probably better than any civics class. And it was really hard to twist their arms to get them out of class for a few hours. But, we're very proud to be here, very proud to represent our school, our city, and Wood County. So just please know how grateful we are for the support and for allowing us to be here today. Thank you.
One round of applause for our dynamic team. The boys, their coach, and the coaching staff. Thank you, everyone, and thank you again for being here this morning.
You had something you wanted to raise your hand?
Yeah, I thank you, Mr. Acting Chairman, Clerk, I don't know what you can call you.
Trent
Would be fine. Okay. So I just wanted to add that I had the pleasure of coming to their banquet last Sunday and presenting them a citation, which we thought was not a really good word to say that we did, because the state also honored them, and Representative Spiros and I were able to give them a recognition, and so they get recognition now from the city, the county, and the state. That's pretty special, guys, isn't it? So congratulations.
Okay, I just have to add one more thing, because that's who I am. The last council meeting in May, we are going to do a proclamation for our great team and our coaches. So that's the next thing. Anybody wants to come and support them, we'd love it. Or you can also watch us on TV and just give us a little wink. And guess what? I'm done.
Thank you. So before the gentlemen head back, okay, Lois kind of touched on it. How long have you guys been together as a team? I mean, through high school, do we go back to like third grade? How many of you been since third grade? Raise your hands. Well done. Congratulations.
Have you been dunking since third grade or not?
Jacoby does.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it. let them make their way out.
Yep, very cool, very cool.
Making it through the sheriff's department, Judge Brazo. All right. Now, back to what we're here to do here. If I could get the supervisors to rise and raise your right hands, you'll respond to the oath. Okay. Do you have been duly elected to the office of supervisor in and for the various districts in Wood County? Do solemnly swear that you will uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will perform the duties of supervisor to the best of your ability, so help you God? If so, answer, I do.
I do.
Congratulations. Notice how nobody's standing for you, though. They did for this boys' basketball team, nobody's standing. All right. Roll call has been taken, and all 19 members are present. I would ask that Supervisor Holcamp come forward for the invocation. If everybody in the room would please rise and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Heavenly Father, as we embark on being a new county board, we begin by giving our gratitude to supervisors LaFontaine, Wig, Fisher, and Winch for their service to their county. Please bless them abundantly for their time and talent that they shared with us. For this new county board, thank you for each member, for the unique talents and perspectives each one of us brings. We ask for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin to serve your people of Wood County. Open our hearts and our eyes to see our county as you would have us see it, and help us to trust in you with our decisions that affect our county. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
The pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
We're getting a lot of feedback on that. Is that something that can be fixed?
Try that.
Nope, I heard you twice.
Dawn? We're good now? Thank you. All right. That will lead us right into the elections of chair, vice chair, and second vice chair. The rules for that are spelled out in the county board rules, which I included in your packet. So at this point, I will open the nominations for county board chairman. Supervisor Zurfluh.
Thank you. I would like to place a nomination for chairman, the distinguished gentleman from the 16th, Lance Plummel.
Supervisor Plimmel has been nominated. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? I don't have to say that 3 times. Peter says I don't have to, but I'm an old town chairman. I will say it 3 times. Are there any other nominations?
I like knocking on the door.
Okay, then I will declare those nominations closed and that Lance Plimmel has been elected county board chair for the next 2 years. I will open up the floor for nominations for first vice chair. Supervisor Hamilton.
I nominate Laura Van Alstyne. I don't know what number she's in.
We'll call her Laura Ballenstein just for fun.
Well, if that's what she wants to be known by, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Supervisor Lightnum, I saw your hand up.
Same nomination.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know you.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? And one last call, are there any other nominations? I will declare that the nominations be closed and that Laura Ballenstein has been elected first vice chair. Congratulations. I will open up the floor for nominations for second vice chair. Supervisor Hamilton.
I nominate Joe Surplus.
Supervisor Zurfluh has been nominated. Are there any further nominations? Any further nominations? Any further nominations? You know, okay, so before I close the nominations, I just wanted to say that we all got dressed up because we thought we were going to be handing out ballots. Heather and I usually don't get this dressed up, and neither does Katie, so this is really quite disappointing. Any other nominations? The floor is now closed, and we now declare that Supervisor Zurfluh has been duly elected as the second vice chairman. Thank you. Chairman Plimmel and Vice Chairwoman Ballantyne come forward.
Take this with us.
Yes, please take your junk with you.
That is Joel Wolf.
You know, someone's gotta keep it warm.
I meant the little boys.
Mr. Chairman, may I approach? One person asked me what a second vice chair does. This is to keep track of the chairman and the vice chairman. That's my job.
So you don't have a tie?
Nice job.
Thank you.
Again, thank you, everybody. Appreciate the confidence. I know all of us, board members, those of us who sit up here, take this job extremely seriously. I work on it every day, as do all of you. So I really appreciate your confidence in that regard. So as we, by the way, and Trent, I don't know, you were the vice chair of this board for what, about 10 years?
Thereabouts, yep.
So somewhere around 10 years. And he would always say to me, could you get sick or go somewhere so I can run a meeting? So I think he was just waiting to get dressed up with that fancy tie. Come on up here. Luckily, I had pretty good health. We didn't have to watch you wear any other crazy ties. So, all right, moving forward with the meeting today, the first thing we have to dispense with is the minutes from the previous session. I'd entertain a motion by Hamilton, a second by Bride. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion on the minutes? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Thank you. Got a few things to take care of here today. We have no excusals. We have no resignations. Under appointments, we have a couple of those to the Land Information Council for a 2-year term. Paul Bernard, Nancy Marty, Brian Spranger, Tony Bastine, Kevin Boyer, Al Bry. And without objection, do you mind if we do if I take those two together for the Community Development Housing Committee as well? See no objection there into the Wood County Community Development Housing Committee. Nate Weidman and Al Bry. So I have a motion by Lightnum and a second by Clendenning. Motion by, Lightnum, second by Clendenning, to approve those. Any discussion? Again, all in favor, please signify by aye.
Aye.
And opposed, and that carries unanimously. Thank you. Do we have any public comment today? Any public comment? Got a full room today, pretty much, with no public comment. This is always one of the most interesting parts, acknowledgements and recognitions, and oftentimes it's long-term employees. This is in regard to our retiring board supervisors. I said it's kind of a bittersweet day. It's one where we have a number of individuals who we've worked with over time. You know, they're fellow board members, they're colleagues, and over time they become friends. And it's hard to say goodbye in some ways. It's the dawn of a new day with the new board seated, as our county clerk recognized earlier. You always hate to see those friends, those colleagues move on, but I guess some days it's kind of nice to lighten the burden that's been on your shoulders for a lot of years. Because I know, maybe talking with some of the new supervisors, the phone rings at 9 or 10 at night occasionally with a constituent, with a problem they want you to address. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's out of our wheelhouse. But all of these gentlemen today that we're going to honor have served for many, many years and with tremendous amount of commitment to the job. So with that, Peter, I'm going to call you forward for our first recognition.
For those of you who don't know, this is Adam Fisher, a former supervisor from Marshfield. Can you hear me back there? Do you want to hear me back there? I was pleasantly surprised when Adam asked if I would say a few words here today. Because when we first started off, I'm not sure that we got along that well. I'm not sure that Adam had a lot of trust in me, and I kind of thought he was a little green. It's about the age of one of my kids. And I also thought he saw things a little black and white. He was kind of a business-minded fiscal conservative, and I was kind of a bureaucrat. Who wrote this? Anyway. But I came to be impressed with Adam, very impressed. I was impressed by the fact that you would listen to people. Not just listen to them, but hear what they were saying. Because I could tell that you weren't agreeing with folks, including myself at times, but you understood what we were saying, and that strengthened your ability to communicate what you were thinking on policies and what other people thought with regards to those policies. And the ability to communicate your thoughts and to understand the other side's perspective, that's important. That's the makings of a leader. I was impressed that Adam immediately understood what the county was, and that is a service organization. And that when you have a service organization or a service business, that you have to treat the people who provide that service right. And he told me many times that that's exactly what he intended to do and what his goal was and his mission was. And I respect that. I was impressed that Adam immediately, I was impressed that Adam was very interested in the macro policies around here. So in other words, county board supervisors, see you getting there, Santa Claus. I was impressed with his focus on the macro policies and not the minutia that goes on. I don't like what this person said or did or that type of thing. I wasn't interested in the personalities. Try to get above and beyond that and set the policies and oversee those policies, because that's what a county board supervisor does. I was also impressed with the respect that others had for him. So we have Lance Plimmel, who's been our county board chairman for a long time. He's earned that. He's a consummate leader. And I could tell that he respected Adam by the fact that he placed him on the operations committee after just one term in office. That was impressive. That operations committee was then called the executive committee, but it served pretty much the same role. So Lance respected him, and that was impressive. I also saw that the county board supervisors themselves were impressed by Adam, by the fact that they elected him to be the vice chair of the county board. And then later on, he was elected to be the chair of the Health and Human Services Committee. In fact, he took over for someone who's had long served that committee with great distinction. And so that was impressive. She was impressive, and you were, and I appreciate that. I liked how Adam would use me as a sounding board, because we seldom agreed on things. And he'd say, this is what I'm thinking, this is why I'm thinking it, what do you think? And I'd tell him what I thought, and tell me why I was wrong. And so he understood things. And so that willingness to hear what the other side has to say and then to understand it, that's important. That's a leader, and I was impressed. The thing that most impressed me about Adam, though, wasn't the words, it was the deeds. So, as many of you probably know, that Adam and his wife Holly have been fostering children for many years. And they've adopted 5 of those children, one of them just recently here within the last week or two. And so I recognize that Holly may be the leader of the team when it comes to the foster care work and providing for those children. And good for her for that. Really good for her. And good for Adam for recognizing a strong and good woman and picking her to be his partner. So I respect that. I respect that a lot. So in the end, I want to thank Adam for his service here for the county on my behalf and on your behalf. We wish you well. We thank you for everything you've done for us. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'll make this quick. You guys have heard me for 8 years, so you don't need to hear me for 8 more minutes. I've always wanted to retire early, so this is a dream come true. So thank you. I can now say I retired at 42. But all joking aside, this has been an honor to serve on the Wood County Board. I have always loved politics, but if you had told me 10, 12 years ago that I would be on the Wood County Board, that I would also have served on the City Council in Marshfield, I would have laughed, because as much as I loved politics, I had no interest in getting involved. But I still remember Supervisor Wagner encouraging me to put my name in the hat for an open vacancy. He probably regrets that by now, but he suggested it, and I did, and much to my surprise, Trent and Lance made the recommendation and it truly was a surprise. I wasn't thinking I was going to get in or be considered. But much to my surprise, I was on the board. I've served for 8 years, and truly, the reason I fought for what I fought for were I believe, for right or for wrong, in good, open, honest government. And I wanted transparency. And we talk about that a lot, but that's something I truly want government to do, is be transparent. I always wanted to be fiscally responsible with taxpayer dollars, and so I tried my hardest to do that. I also believe that competitive compensation is the best retention policy for the county. So I fought for that. And I also tried to fight for the people that are often forgotten here in Wood County, and that's why I had such a passion for Health and Human Services. I would encourage you, this county board, to continue to fight for those things. Please fight for transparency. Please fight for fiscal responsibility. Please fight for those who don't have a voice, and please fight for competitive wages, because keeping our employees is the best retention policy. So thank you for letting me serve. I will look back mostly with fond memories at my time here on the Wood County Board. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you, Adam, for your service. The virtues that were extolled by our corp council would apply to every one of these retiring supervisors today. They've all had a tremendous amount of dedicated service to Wood County. One of the points Peter made I thought was pretty interesting. He said, sometimes he and Adam would agree, disagree, and Peter and I have those same conversations often, and I usually just say, Peter, I'd agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong. And he doesn't find that real humorous at times, but sometimes that's the way it rolls. So I guess, on behalf of all those retiring supervisors, Adam, I know that our corp council just made some statement in regard to your service, but in regard to yourself, Bill, Dave, Ed, I know I speak on behalf of the entire board. And as all of you prepare to embark on that next chapter, I wanted to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude and congratulations for the years of dedicated service to Wood County. Your unwavering commitment has made a lasting impact on the lives of people throughout the county and within your own communities. And I think I can say across the board with every one of you, your leadership, integrity, tireless efforts have truly made a difference, and that legacy will continue to inspire us for years to come. So we're excited to see you take on new challenges in your life, to go a different direction, and to have more time but we are truly going to miss you. And again, we want to thank you for that selfless service. And that's a general statement for all of those retiring supervisors. Like I said before, it's the dawn of a new day, but it's also bittersweet because we say goodbye to some really good friends. So with that being said, I'm going to call on these individually and make a few comments. Mr. Winch, if you would come forward.
Say no.
All you gotta do is stand here for a minute.
Yeah, right.
All right, Supervisor Bill Winch. Bill was first elected in 2002. Put that in perspective, that's a generation. That's a lifetime. Often referred to when I go into Vesper by many people. I've heard him called the Prince of Vesper, the king of the area. Many of you know him from Winch Oil and all the years that he provided services through his business in that community. But I've heard him referred to in that respect by many of the residents up there over time. Bill's service to the county has been tremendous, and he served on actually too many committees for me to stand up here and list, unless we're going to be here till noon. You know, Bill, you've served some of the main ones: the Sheriff and Traffic Committee, prior to being the Public Safety Committee, the Fairgrounds Commission, Local Emergency Planning, NUCOM, the Public Property Committee, later the PIT Committee, which is Property Information Technology, our Highway Infrastructure Recreation Committee, which was the Parks Committee as well, our Seed Committee. And Bill, I think what most impresses me with you is you've been here all these years, but it isn't just your work within this boardroom. It's what you've done in the community. You know, I've watched you work with youth, especially through the wrestling programs, for generations. And the respect that's shown by those young men as they've grown up and they've entered the community as adults is just outstanding. Because I talk to those kids every now. They're not kids anymore. They're all adults, but they can't say enough good things about how Bill Winch mentored them and helped them become productive adults. So, you know, whether it's your work with those youth, whether it's the time you spent with what was affectionately called adult daycare at Winch Oil, where every morning you had a whole group of people in that solved all the problems in the county and created more than they actually solved, but it was usually a good event. You've been an extremely important part of your community for all those years. And so my only job today, on behalf of this board, is to say thank you. We're going to miss you, and to return you to Judy, who's now got a full-time job. She's going to have you every day, all day, and we just encourage you to stay off a lawnmower, be stand in a ditch, and be healthy. So Bill, I'm going to say congratulations. I'm going to hand you this plaque, and I'm going to read this actually, and this applies to all of them, but it's from the Wood County Board of Supervisors. It recognizes and thanks William Winch for 22 years of faithful service to the people of Wood County from April 2002 to 2024. Now, most of you are, I think Scott's got that same voting thing. Now, that has a yes button on it, just in case anybody asks. The thing that most impressed me with Bill is I always know where Bill's coming from. It's forthright, we could disagree on everything, and when we got done, he'd say, hey, let's go have a beer. Just one of those people who's truly a pleasure to work with. Would you like to say a word or two? No?
Just short, thank you.
And again, thank you, Supervisor Winch. Bill, you've been a great colleague and a great friend. And we're going to miss you on the board floor, but we will see you in the community. The next person we're going to recognize today is Dave LaFontaine. Dave was elected to this board in 2016. Again, served on numerous committees. Dave, you want to come forward, please? So Dave was first elected to this board in 2016, and again, served on numerous committees over time. Our J&L committee, Judicial and Legislative, Census and Redistricting, our Kirk committee, and then again, that's Highway Infrastructure Recreation, which is Highways and Parks. Our Jail Ad Hoc Committee, which is singularly the biggest project we've ever done in this county. Our Seed Committee, Conservation, Education, Economic Development, Regional Planning. He's done it all. And Dave came to this board as probably one of the most prepared people to serve on some of those committees as anybody we've ever seen. His background, in his private life, his personal experience was tremendous, especially in the areas of highways and roads. Dave, I can't say enough, but your commitment to this county, which is significant, is probably only surpassed by your service and dedication to our country. Dave has served, and I'm probably a little bit wrong on this because I'm guessing, probably between active military duty and your time in the Guard, probably 30 years. Yes. Give or take, about 30 years. 30 years. And that says a lot about an individual. Just tremendous person. Very few individuals come to this board with the unique blend of talent, experiences Dave has had. He's respected not only on this board, he's respected in his community, and in that I mean where he lives, and he's respected by those veterans around Marshfield. I've had opportunity occasionally to get into the Legion up there and to talk to some of the members there and some of the people. I've never heard anybody spoken more highly of than Dave LaFontaine. So, Dave, you brought us a world of experience in numerous technical areas in regard to highways and some of the other stuff. You're always a measured person. I appreciate that. I can't think of anybody who has served a district better than you have ever done, and I appreciate that. And again, same words, but Dave LaFontaine, for 8 years of dedicated service to the people of Wood County from the Wood County Board of Supervisors. And Dave, if you'd please say a few words.
Thank you, Lance. It's been an honor serving on the committee. I do have a few words to say. My many thanks to the employees of Wood County. Your excellence in your work to support the citizens of Wood County is commendable. And a special thank you to the staff of the UW Extension. I've been continually amazed that all you do in support of the county staff, the businesses, the organizations, and the people of the county. And to my fellow county board members, I appreciate the ability to work with you and serve the citizens of Wood County. And my best wishes for your success in the many challenges you have facing ahead. And to Mary Jo Wheeler and the concerned citizens of Marshfield, may you live to regret your campaigns of lies, money, and deceit in the pursuit of power and position. Thank you.
Dave, on behalf of the county. Mr. Wagner, would you work your way up here while Mr. LaFontaine works the crowd in the other direction? I'll grab this plaque. This is the last of our recognitions today, but it's not the least. Supervisor Wagner served on this board from 2010 to 2018. Thought he had enough of us, went away, and then I begged him to come back because of his expertise, his knowledge of the entire county operation, and the contributions that he had made previously. So in 2020, he arrived again to serve diligently. He just did a tremendous job. So, you know, Ed, you've served as the vice chair of the county board, you've chaired the Judicial and Legislative Committee, you've chaired the Executive Committee, which is later the Operations Committee, you've sat on the Fair Board, the Fair Association, the ITBEP, which was the International Trade Business Economic Development Committee for North Central Wisconsin, North Central Regional Planning, North Central Workforce Development. A real interesting story, and take a moment with that here, is the governor asked me to forward a name, the appointment to a joint, it was a joint appointment, the governor and myself. And I forwarded a name of Ed Wagner to the governor. And the governor's a friend of mine, I had Scott Walker. And I said, Governor, here's the person I want. And he said, well, that's going to be difficult because Ed is a member of the other party. And I said, well, Governor, you told me you wanted the best person for the job. You didn't tell me they had to have a D or an R after their name. And the governor said, well, get me another name. 3 months later, the governor said, you haven't got me another name. I said, that's right. And I don't know, a year or two later, we had the same conversation. He said, you still haven't forwarded me. And I said, I forwarded you the best name. You just apparently are looking at political parties. Well, Governor Walker eventually left office, and it was about 2 years later, after he'd left office, I was having dinner down in the Waukesha area, actually out, the Oconomowoc area. A place many of you probably been to, the Golden Mass Supper Club. And the governor saw me there, and he said to me, you never gave me a name. And I said, I was never gonna. Again, this goes past the partisan politics. I said, you asked me for the best person. I gave you the best person. You didn't tell me to give you the second best, or second most qualified. So Ed, I held out against the governor for years. He and I are still acquainted at this point in time. He'll shake my hand, but I'm not sure he's happy about that. You've given a lifetime of service to the people of Wood County, to Wisconsin, part of a lifetime to those in Florida. You've served as a mayor, a common council president, vice chair of this board. For me, you've been a sounding board, a confidant, a colleague, and a friend. You know, you get people, as Peter mentioned, when they first come to this board, somebody might say to you, that person has A, B, or C as an idea. They could be difficult in this arena. They're going to disagree on many issues. And what I found with Ed Wagner is, when he first came here, he had a lot of questions. I don't know that we ever actually butted heads, but we might have come at issues from different directions. But over time, I don't know that I've ever had the privilege to serve with somebody who's been more dedicated, more willing to take on the job, spend the hours and the time, become more knowledgeable, and help lead this county in a positive direction. So with that said, Ed, on behalf of the entire Wood County Board of Supervisors, for 12 years of faithful service to the people of Wood County, from 2010 to 2018 and from 2020 to 2024. I congratulate you and I want to thank you. And the microphone is yours.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Lance. I want to thank Lance for, I have to get this up here. I want to thank Lance for having the confidence in me to help me and tutor me along all these years, because it's been quite a ride. It's been quite a bit of that change happened in the county, in our society, and on this board also. I guess I want to do one of the things. I want to let the new supervisors, the guys who are coming on board now, you're inheriting one of the best staffs in all of Wisconsin. Our department heads, some of them are leaders of the county or their statewide organizations, but all of them are dedicated to helping Wood County grow and prosper. There were 19 of us that had the privilege of wearing the badge as a supervisor. And to that badge, we were responsible for about 71,000 people. And I don't know how we managed to do it, but we managed to carry out the projects and get things going for those 71,000 people without killing each other. You still do. I gotta tell you though, we argue a lot. We have a lot of different opinions. 19 of us, a minimum of 19 different opinions. Probably more than that when you get down to counting them. But somehow or another we pull it all together and make it work. And there's a camaraderie that happens here, which is probably the thing I'm going to miss the most. Probably. You heard some of the teasing taking place with Bill Winch. Adam dropped one in there too. You can't say those kinds of things about your colleagues without having a sincere affection for them. Back, I think it was 2016, I had my second heart attack. And I was in the hospital at St. Joe's. And one gray morning, laying there, and all of a sudden the door opens up, and there's this little figure there. And I said, oh my God, what's that? I said, Donna? And she said, yes, Ed, it is I.
I am your nurse today.
Yes, thank you very much. I wasn't sure if you were going to be my nurse or hold a pillow over my head. I don't know. But the point is,
She's just fluffing it for you.
she demonstrated a sincere concern, even though we've known each other, as near as I can tell, we've known each other since our kids were in 3rd grade. And we were fighting then over school superintendent, if I recall. But the point was that once we left this floor, it was a little different. We were colleagues. And I think, let me get this out here. It's hard to say goodbye to you guys. But I gotta do it anyway. But I think I looked around and I found something that the Irish are particularly good at this, at saying goodbye. And I think it's the best way I can tell you too. It says, but since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call, farewell, and joy be to you all. It's been quite a ride. Thank you very much. Love you all.
We got a picture of that? Joe, don't tell
And again, on behalf of the entire board, I want to thank you all for, like I said, the years and years of dedicated service. If you look behind me to this side, there's a board up there when we had 38 supervisors. Some of those people are still on this earth, some have since passed. And I've had the opportunity to serve on this board for, I'm pushing 3 decades. And I can tell you this, the board that is just leaving is one of the best boards I've ever worked with. I had a meeting in Madison a week ago on Thursday. A number of leaders of the different organizations, the League of Municipalities, the Towns Association, and I made a comment that in our county, our supervisors talk to each other, we talk to the mayors, we talk to the town board chairman, the village presidents, we all speak. I said we talk to our local legislators regularly, and one of those executive directors says you're one of only 3 counties in the state that does that, and Wood County is a shining example of that, a beacon of light. He said, I wish every county would operate the way you do. Now we will, this is especially the new supervisor, we're going to disagree on issues, but at the end of the day, I was telling everybody, if I was on a particular side of an issue and that doesn't prevail and I lose, then I lost. I made a bad argument, I didn't advocate enough, or I wasn't, maybe I just wasn't right. But at the end of the day, when you walk out of here, you shake hands and you go on to the next issue. What do we have to deal with? Because there's a lot of things that we deal with in this county that affect the lives of everybody. So again, to the new members, you're members of one of the best boards in the state. To those leaving, you had the opportunity to work with one of the most congenial, one of the most cohesive, and one of the best boards. And I think all you have to do is look around at this jail project. As I travel around the state, I have county board chairs, administrators, and executives asking me if I would come to their county and explain how we get a project done. And I said, I can't do it, but I have a vice chair and I have a whole committee that could come down to your county and tell you how I got it done. So it's cooperative, it's collaborative, it's compromise all the way. And again, one last time on behalf of this entire board, myself personally, I cannot thank you gentlemen enough for the years of service that you had to Wood County residents and to this board. Thank you.
now that we went through that, one of the new supervisors asked me, how long does a meeting usually last? I said an hour or less. So luckily, we have a very short packet today. And I'm going to still try to hold to that and see where we get done here. We have gone through the minutes of the previous meeting. We've done our acknowledgements and recognitions. That takes us into the packet. The first thing in the packet was those referrals. They went to the appropriate people. So on your brand new iPads, and some of you are telling me you hate the new ones already, they're a little bit different operationally. They're a little bit bigger. You'll get used to that pretty quick. So when we move into the packet, first thing in there, Operations Committee. Our meeting from April 2nd, and that's pages 9, 10, and 11. We have monthly comments from the county clerk, who you just saw dressed all fancy up here on 12 and 13. Trent, I just want to make a comment about the election. Again, I'm going to say something before you do. I follow election results around the state. And you try to look at the results as they come in. It was probably 9 o'clock, and every single result in Wood County was up. And it wasn't just up on a spreadsheet where you have to guess in what precinct or what district or what town somebody got votes and add them all together. They were up there by position, by name, in order. You wouldn't believe how highly unusual that is. There's some big counties that I'm trying to find out, what parts or what wards and what towns and where they were, and it's a spreadsheet up there. And Trent and his group, IT, he gives them all the credit, but just tremendous. And I had a couple counties call me the other day too and ask, how do you do that? Who does it? I always tell them to call Trent. We're taking on a lot of issues anyway. But Trent, you want to say anything about the election?
Sure, and I don't claim any credit for that website. That is strictly Chris Markworth in the IT department and my predecessor, Cindy Seacrest. That thing just runs really, really nice. So I was a little disappointed in the turnout. We had a 33-ish, and I'll have that in my monthly letter comments next month. 33% turnout for for the spring election. I was even more surprised that Rapids was one of the lowest turnouts, at 31%, with the mayor's race and a couple of council members. That just kind of surprised me. Our bigger turnouts were up towards Marshfield. The school district certainly garnered some support. The most popular county board supervisor, who got the most votes? Anyone?
Jake Hahn.
Mr. Hahn. Supervisor Hahn, none opposed. Got the most votes.
Tell us your secrets. Tell us your secrets.
All right, that's all I have to say.
He didn't bust into the polls.
That's called fraud.
The capability. All right, moving forward, our Human Resources Department monthly letter comments 14 through 18, pages 14 to 18. Monthly letter comments from the treasurer on 19, employee wellness on 20, and that brings us to the first of only 2 resolutions in the packet today. To ask the clerk to please read.
This will be Resolution 24-4-1 to amend the 2023 budget for Justice Coordinator, Drug Court, for the purpose of funding higher than anticipated expenditures. Fiscal note, no additional cost to Wood County. The source of the funding is unanticipated revenues from Drug Court Adult Drug Treatment State Aid Revenue Account. The adjustment to the budget total is $8,550.
Motion by Hamilton, a second by Clendenning. Do we have a board up there, Trent? There we go. All right. Is there any discussion?
Use this to vote.
Any discussion? I'd ask you to please vote. That resolution passed 19-0. All right, moving forward, minutes of the Health and Human Services Committee of March 28th on pages 22, 3, and 4. Monthly update from the Health Department on 25 through 29. Monthly update from our Human Services Department, beginning with Director Ruings, begins on page 30 and runs through page 38. Minutes of the Public Safety Committee meeting of Monday, April 8th on 39, 40, and 41. Questions there? Got a snapshot here of what looks like a license plate reader. Is that what that is? Q?
Yes.
Just informational? Yeah? Okay. Anybody has any questions about that, check out the Sheriff's Department. Their monthly report, the book that they give us every month, pages 43 through 66. 43 to 66. Then we move on to the minutes of the Seat Committee. Their meeting from April 3rd on 67 68 and 69. The ITBEC committee, you know, you see these in the minutes always, and it was, you know, the International Trade Business Economic Development Committee. These groups were put together originally when they were trying to facilitate sale of ginseng, and the international part came in. There's been an official name change to this, and it's going to be tourism. So it's going to more reflect what we actually do, because this is really related to tourism and building that out in north central Wisconsin. So that's the ITBEC on 70 and 71. The update from Extension, page 72, and it runs through page 77, 72 to 77. Land and Water Conservation Department, their monthly comments, 78 through 83, 78 to 83. We have on 84 and 85, a quick note there from Jason. And then we go to the CWEB report, the annual report, Central Wisconsin Economic Development, and that runs from 86 to 91. 86 to 91. Minutes of the Judicial and Legislative Committee of April 5th, 92 and 93. Residential Options Committee, 94 and 95. Notice of injury and claim on 96 and 97. Monthly updates, and these summaries are really nice, and especially with the new board supervisor, that's probably where you get a lot of the information that's going to be very useful to you going forward if you don't sit on a particular committee. But from the Child Support Agency, Director Bruinks on 98. From our Clerk of Courts, Kimberly Stevack on 99. Corp Counsel Kastenholz on page 100. Criminal Justice Department on 101. Register and Probate 102. And Register of Deeds on page 103. Then that takes us to the HERC Committee meeting, their meeting of April 4th on page 104. 5 and 6. Minutes from the State Wildlife Advisory Committee meeting of February 12th on 107. And then we have monthly reports meeting with the Highway Commissioner's Office, and that's on 108, and it runs through 113, 108 through 113. From the Parks Department, it begins on 114, and it runs through 118. 118. Minutes from the PIT Committee, Property Information Technology, 119 and 120. And then we have the monthly update from IT, Information Technology, begins on 121 and it runs through 126. 121 and 126. The monthly update from our Facilities Manager, Ruben Van Tassel, that's on 127. And for those of you who have not or had the opportunity or looked at the progress in the new jail, you might want to take the opportunity to contact Ruben and walk through there, get a tour. It's getting there. It's big. Our county clerk and entourage got lost in there one day and needed a guide to get out. I'm not kidding.
He's not lying.
It's amazing.
Next time he goes, he's going to drop breadcrumbs, he said. So, our South Central Library System Board of Trustees minutes from 222 on 128 and 129. Minutes from the Jail Construction Ad Hoc Committee on 130 and 131. This may be the shortest packet that we've ever had from a county board perspective. I'm going to make a couple comments, but there's another resolution here, the last resolution in this, and Trent, I'd ask you to please read the resolution.
This will be Resolution 24-4-2 relating to the life and public service of Kenneth Josephson.
And I have a motion by Supervisor Clendening, a second by Supervisor Boyd. All in favor, please signify by aye.
Aye.
I'd like to note that that's unanimous, and then I would like everyone to please rise and stand aside for a minute in respect of Supervisor Josephson. Thank you.
like I mentioned earlier, there's some names on that board that, I don't know when we stopped using that board, it's been a lot of years. Some of those people have already passed, and many of those were mentors to me when I came to this board. Supervisor Josephson was one of those people. He had a tremendous amount of service to Wood County. He was somebody who mentored me when I first ended up on the committee. And one of my favorite stories with Supervisor Josephson was up at Powers Bluff. I don't know if that's, you're going to tell a call story probably. We're up at Powers Bluff, and I realized when I said, somebody asked me the other day, they said, how long do you plan on serving? I said, I don't know for sure, but I can tell you this, there's way more days behind me than there are ahead of me. And I had a committee up there, it was Ken Josephson and Denny Schulhauser, Don Melville. Most of those are deceased now. We're up at Powers Bluff, up at the shelter, for those of you who've been there. And Ron Arndt was our director. And we were having a meeting at the shelter house. He said, we're going to go down to the bottom of the hill. We're going to look at one of the lift mechanisms down there on one of the tow ropes. And then we're going to come back up and we're going to talk about that, how we either extend, expand, or add another one. And the four of them were probably the age I am now, and they all looked at me and said, no, Lance is going to go down the hill, because actually probably 40. He's going to look at it, he's going to come back up here and tell us what it looks like. And none of them left the picnic table. Well, as some of our younger supervisors sitting in this room, that's the mantle you're going to have to take on. There's going to be not too many years where I'm going to be sitting on a picnic table at the top of Powers Bluff asking what I look like when I went down there. And that's where trust comes in. They had to believe what I was going to say. They mentored me along the way, and Ken was one of those people. Trent, did you want to add something? You certainly can. The other thing Ken did, Ken was a good golfer. We used to play in the park and forestry. They had an annual summer tour that we went to every year. They eventually disqualified county board supervisors from playing in it because they said we have way too much time on our hands, and park and forestry staff does not. And I think Ken and I probably won that golf tournament about 5 or 6 years in a row, and we were kicked out eventually. We were invited not to come. Again, tremendous service to the county, tremendous individual, and we're certainly sorry to hear of his passing. But every one of us at some point in time, nobody's learned how to cheat that at the end of the day. So again, thank you there. Next meeting coming up is Tuesday, May 21st, but in between that, as Trent mentioned, there's going to be training opportunities through the Counties Association. I think the closest one, there's a lot of them, but I think the closest one is May 5th, isn't it, Trent?
May 6th is Stevens Point, and so let me know. Also, if I may, Mr. Chairman, with your indulgence, if anybody's interested in attending the fall conference in La Crosse, please let me know before May 1st, because we're in La Crosse, and hotels are of a premium, especially if you want to get one connected to the La Crosse Center. It's not like the Kalahari, so please let me know as soon as you can. So on May 1st, I have my bank of phones to all the hotels. I know how many I need to reserve, so I appreciate that.
And I highly encourage you to attend both the workshops that the association does as well as the conference. You will learn a lot there. I don't think as supervisors we can be overeducated. So again, that's running us through our business today. Supervisor Rosen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I probably should have brought this up when we were on the Register of Deeds, but I want to mention, again, a service that's through the Register of Deeds Department. We get a lot of call in my office in Madison about people concerned about scams and title transfers without their permission. And our Register of Deeds, as a packet that we have in this county, has a free sign-up where you can be notified if there's any action on the title of properties that you own. And I would encourage everybody in this room and listening to take advantage of that, because every time I hear that title protection ad on TV or radio where I don't even know how much it costs, but I'm sure it's not free. I think we have that in our county that's free, and how many people know about that? And so I just want to let people know that we have that service in Wood County, and if you call the Register of Deeds office, they can explain to you how to sign up for that. But it works, because I've had a couple of title transfers on some properties that I own, and I get a phone call and they say, if you don't know about this, would you please contact us and all that. So I just want to make sure that people understand that that's available, and I appreciate Tiffany making that available to the residents of the software program that she uses. Thank you.
I appreciate your reiterating that. Actually, Tiffany, I don't know, a couple months ago,
maybe 3 months ago, did a radio show with me. She actually did the radio show, I just sat there next to her, nodded my head a lot, that we have this service. And I went to her office, I assumed you were automatically enrolled, you were not. She said, it takes about a minute. And I said, really? She said, well, it takes me a minute. She goes, if you can sit here for a minute, I'll show you how to do it. And within a minute, it was done. So again, take advantage of it. Tiffany did a great job on the radio that day. I had a lot of calls and comments on that as well. So is there anything, committee assignments will come out after this meeting. I'd like to meet with our vice chair and second vice chair quickly. Those will probably be out tomorrow, pretty well already done. And you'll see those come out by email. Anybody have any questions? 10:29. We'll stop that. Tom, thank you very much for bringing everybody up here today. I think it's noteworthy that we recognize those who are successful, those who strive for excellence in our county. Oftentimes the supervisors, all we hear about is the bad. So again, Tom, thanks on behalf of the board for your work and effort to get them up here. With that, I will declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you.